All right. Good morning. Hi, Colleen. Can you see me?
Morning. I don't see you yet. I
Okay.
see you now.
You see me now. Okay, good.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Good, good. A little rainy here. Was kind of hoping for one more beautiful day. We've had so many beautiful days in a row. I think I'm feeling a little spoiled.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's snowing here, so it
Oh,
might be
geez. Well,
coming
just
your
keep
way.
that there, okay?
Yeah, yeah. All right. Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Taylor. I do our communications here at My Real Source if you haven't taken a class with us before. And then my co-trainer, co-host is Colleen. So we have a lot to cover today. I'm going to share my screen and go over kind of an overview of what we're going to be teaching today, the products. We do this class together, so we hand it off. One person answers questions, and try not to jump around too much. But we all kind of have, both of us kind of have something different to add to all the products. So you are on a webinar called Create a List, or not Create a
That's
tackling,
the other one.
that's the other one where we just did, tackling low inventory. So we have 3 tools that we're going to be covering that allow you to do that, as well as tying that into social media. So let me share my screen and go through all that. One second. All right. All right, are you seeing the presentation, Colleen?
Let me close this window. Sorry, I was just saying good. Tom says good morning. Wynn says good morning. And I see it now.
Okay. So you see it right now too when I have it presented?
Yep, I see the tools
Okay.
for tackling low inventory.
Okay, cool. All right, so can everybody hear and see us okay? If not, please let us know. Colleen will be monitoring that in the background. So this is a relatively newer class that we've been teaching for about a year now, and we've only taught it a couple times. But a class that is in high demand, that's for sure, and hopefully we'll be able to teach a lot more. We are in a very low inventory market right now, as everybody knows. And how do you gain that inventory? How can we start incubating those leads, giving people that peace of mind that there's going to be homes and do all that? So what's even better is that all these tools that we're showing you are already included in your My Real Source membership. So on the agenda today, I'm going to go into some lead capture tools. A live demo, you are welcome to follow along or take notes, but Colleen is going to be doing a live demo of these products, and then I am going to be going into them as well and putting them together in a social media post and show you some of the features of Facebook, a little bit of Instagram, and building ads and creating boosting posts, and how you can marry all 3 of these products together, or 2 of them together, or just one. So the tools that we're going to be covering today include Market Stats, New Home Source Pro, which is one that is relatively new as well, but not a lot of adoption yet because it's a little out of the normal tools that we offer. So I'm really excited for you guys to see this product and start using it. And Cloud CMA. And then from there, we'll tie all that in to Facebook posts and boosting and building of ads. So what is Market Stats? If you have not used Market Stats, this is a great resource for agents and brokers to go in and check out what's going on in the market through the MLS, through all of our data shares. You can just pull quick reports, create custom graphs, but for the sake of this class, the way that we would really like for our agents to use it is a whole nother way, and that's a way to tell a story and capturing those seller leads, as well as setting expectations for potential buyers or your buyers. So a current market report is one thing that you can pull really quickly. That's within Fast Stats. So Colleen will be touching on all of these live for you to see. And that discusses the inventory shortages, how to create live graphs and charts, you can go in and you can create these, there's these quick charts that are already available for you that cover a lot of this stuff in Fast Stats. But what's really nice is in InfoSparks is a customized graph option where you can pull information on new listings, month supply, homes for sale, days on market, and really dial it down to what works for you and the story that you want to tell. And it's all fully pulled right from the MLS. So that is the great source of these stats. There's not going to be duplication numbers. There's not going to be missing information. It's all those data shares right there for you. So you can use market stats for more than just the education purpose for you, but you can create content to then capture some leads. So for example, the price per square foot, days on market, price, percent per list price. So these kinds of things that really might be intriguing for a seller to then decide if they want to put their home up for sale. But a lot of problems come with that where they are a little nervous to put their home up for sale because of the low inventory. So how do you kind of tie these together where we can kind of get this market moving along a little bit better? So you can use those graphs that are great for sellers to see with the value of their home, tie those into Facebook. They're interactive. You can really narrow it down to locations. You can draw boundaries. You can do all of this stuff within there, which is awesome. And then share those interactive graphs right to Facebook or Instagram. Tell that story with those posts. You can also do blog posts. So if you have a website, you can go and you can send this graph to your developer, your IDX vendor, or if you have access to an admin login from your website, you can paste these graphs into a post on your website. You can frame them in as a little widget on your website if you would like. So you have a lot of options within Market Stats more than just pulling the numbers. And using Market Stats to tie into other products that we offer, like Cloud CMA. So there's more to Cloud CMA than just generating a CMA. Colleen actually teaches a class that's called Cloud CMA and more than just CMAs. So that because there's other features to it, such as lead capture. So there's a lead capture form where you can go in and you can create a link that allows people to get an idea roughly of what their home is worth. And then that lead then comes to you. You can also tie this into, if you have a CRM, that directory link to then capture that information as well. New Home Source is that MLS companion for new construction. So hopefully new construction continues to be on the rise. And with that, a lot of potential buyers, even people that are considering selling, are wondering, okay, where are the homes? I'm not ready to pull the trigger right now. So what you can do is you can set up a seller with a new inventory in Paragon, of course. But as new communities are up and coming, then they can browse your own New Home Source site. So all of our members have access to New Home Source where they have their own agent version of this site. And what that allows them to do is it's a really basic search, but it does allow them to go in and search communities, specific builders, areas, price range, bedrooms, all that kind of stuff. To see what kind of new homes are set up. So you can get that to send to an already existing client, a seller or a buyer, but you can also use it to capture leads. For those that are maybe anxious to even start looking for a home, it gives them an idea of really what's coming down the pipeline, what's up and coming, some of what's available now, types of builders and their styles. And you're really using New Home Source as a way to incubate those leads. It's not just what's available right now in the MLS and you better put your offer in right away. And with the average day or median days on market, 1 to 10 days can be, that's a big decision to make in a short period of time. So what this allows you to do is set that up for them, and like I said, incubate those leads. So the lead capture form is on your version of your agent site in New Home Source. So if they have any inquiries about this that is not already a client that you've set up in here, they can then go in, fill in their information, and then set up their own where they can then start browsing and seeing what's going on. And those inquiries go directly to you, the agent, and then you can coordinate an agreement with the builder to make sure that you are getting compensated for that. So how does that work when you get the lead? Well, that lead fills out their form, they're going to get a welcome email that's branded to you, and that they're able to access, do some searching, how they can contact you, and then you get that notification that somebody created an account under your agent's site. So then you can follow up, because they cannot create this site or this search without providing their phone number and their email. And then that lead is then stored under your New Home Source profile. So Colleen's going to show you all of this. This is just a little overview. So Cloud CMA is another product that we're going to work with today. And within Cloud CMA is that lead capture feature where you can now share a nice clean form that says what's your home worth, share that on social media, send that over, and it gives them a detailed CMA report. It's not going to give them exactly what you as the agent expert would tweak and dial it down and do all that, but it is going to pull some comparables, some market information. It's going to give some branding to you. You can customize specific pages that you want in there. And so when you share this, that lead also gets notified to you. You can see the report and you can follow up with that with a more accurate price. So all three of these tools that I showed you can all be shared to social media. And in the past, when I would teach a social media class, I would show one of the products here, one of the products there. And then once we brought on New Home Source and we really started thinking about this and the market really started to slow down, it was like, really, we can tie these products together and create something that the consumer really wants. This is what people want to see. As social media has taken off, people are kind of getting tired of seeing the same posts and the same, just kind of thoughtless content out there. So what we did is we were like, let's marry these 2 to 3 products together and tell a story. So by telling that story, you are giving them call to actions, you're speaking on their level, you're telling them why they should care, and then now you get that lead and you're actually giving people the content that they want, and basically nurturing those concerns that they have so that they're not spooked and not wanting to start looking for a home or not listing their home. So I'm going to go into some of these sample posts when it's my portion and how you can do that. The handout also gives you these sample posts. Now, these posts were created at a snapshot in time, but it does give you a way to write the post, an example of how you can use these, and you can update the numbers, and you can update your URLs and put those in there. But for an example, I used Market Stats to create a graph that talks about the housing inventory. So let's address that. Let's address the elephant in the room, that there's a housing shortage right now. The inventory is very low. It's been low consistently for about 5 years. And you can go in and you can actually see that percent. Now, this is a snapshot in time, like I said. So at this time, it was 10 to 20. There's been a dip to 10 to 20% in new listings on the market. So for you to get $10 top dollar, You may be worried about where to live after you sell. Thankfully, there's new construction on the rise. And so you're breaking down what this graph, following that, it's going to break down what the graph is telling you, and then a call to action to the new home source site, where then they can kind of start seeing new communities and decide from there what they want to do. Once we go into these posts, there's going to be an option for you to build some ads and boosts, and where you go to do that. They're both very similar, and sometimes they can be used they seem like they're the same thing, but they're not. So a boost is where you already have your pages, or you already have your Facebook page and your followers on that page. So when you create a more authentic post that looks like it's coming from you, the agent, on your business page, you can go in and you can boost that. And that boost is going to show up as a post in your followers feed. So you're making sure that those followers are for sure seeing that post. It's not getting buried, or it's not getting pulled up based on the algorithm of their Facebook activity. Now, you can also add target audiences in addition to the page followers that you have with a boost. For a lot of the stuff that I'm covering today, I tend to lean towards the boost. I also tend to lean towards the boost for the content that I put out as our marketing person for my real source too. Now, an ad is something that's going to be maybe where you're marketing yourself specifically, your company, this specific listing, things like that. But when you're trying to build that brand, that level of expertise, sourcing, things like that, I find a boost makes more sense. An ad is going to allow you to customize a little bit more, but it's going to show up as an ad. It's not going to look as organic or natural as a post would with a boost. So I'm going to hand this off to Colleen to do a live demo of all these products that I just talked about, and then I'm going to tie them together for some sample posts and some Facebook tips on after her. So let me hand this off to you, Colleen. Were there any questions yet? I mean, right, that was just kind of an overview, but just want to make sure there was no questions.
Nope, just a lot of nice good mornings and people excited to see more about how they can find New Home Source Pro. So
Right.
got a lot of friends on the call today.
Okay, good.
All right. So can you see my screen at this point, Taylor?
Yep.
The Paragon screen? Okay, excellent. So one quick thing I wanted to mention, we have added a step-by-step flyer. Taylor created this awesome flyer that you're going to find in your GoToWebinar panel. And I love this because as an agent, I'm never going to retain all of this, right? So two things. She made this great checklist flyer that's going to follow along with the order that we go through these tools and products. You can find it in your GoToWebinar handout. You can also find it under MLS documents. You can save it. You can download it. It's about 10 pages, but it's going to walk you through everything from the checklist on setting your new home source site up, as well as some of the tips that she's going to give you in using social media. So it's going to walk you through it step by step. I'm always really grateful to have those handouts afterward when you're trying to do something 3 months from now and you're like, how did she say to do that again? It's really nice when you can have that checklist to go back to. The other thing is, feel free to ask questions throughout the demonstration. If you have a question on something, somebody else probably does too. And the other thing I wanted to just show you very quickly is we record all of these classes and you can find them, and Taylor's probably going to put the link in there for you. She usually always does that before I even get to it. But under resources, you're going to find the education area. And what we've done is Taylor created kind of a YouTube playlist where you can find all of the classes. So we're going to cover this at a really good clip today. And the reason I'm saying that is we're going to throw a lot of products at you, but don't worry if you miss something or you have to step away and take a phone call. We're recording this so you can go back and fast forward right to that part. Where you're going to find all your great tools, as well as all the ones we're going to cover today, you're going to find it under resources. Under the education section, you'll see recorded webinars right here. When you click on that, that's going to take you to the great YouTube channel that Taylor set up for us. If you click on videos, that's really the easiest way to get to the classes. And each class not only has the title, but it has the date. So if you're looking for this exact class, you're just going to look for tools for tackling low inventory and then today's date. But everything from the mobile class to the creating a new listing from A to Z that Taylor and I teach, as well as the public records class that our good friend Lisa Harris teaches. All of those are right under recorded webinars. Just wanted to point that out in case you need to go back. All right, so where we're going to start today is really kind of where Taylor started in market stats. As I mentioned, kind of think of resources as your agent toolbox. This is where you're going to find all those great products and services. The one we're going to start off with, though, is under social media and lead gen. And we're going to do exactly what Taylor just described. We're going to kind of figure out what story do we want to tell out onto social media. So that there's a couple different pieces to market stats. One of the pieces that I love, and we showcase this in the Cloud CMA class, is I love the fact that you can be an expert in the marketplace, even if you're brand new, using great programs in market stats like the Fast Stats. If you haven't seen Fast Stats, let me show it to you real quick. Again, we go through this a little bit more in the Cloud CMA class too. But once you're inside market stats, you can do so much. But if I go up to Fast Stats here, I can actually create these great market analytics that I can show a seller. I can create them very easily, simply with 2 clicks, quite honestly. And it's a great way to show a seller exactly what's going on in their marketplace. Now, what I do is every single CMA that I do, I include this Fast Stat report because I want to show the seller why we're looking at that price, what's going on up to the minute in their market area, and really what the numbers look like in a market that we're seeing. We're seeing a few more listings now getting price changes, but we're still seeing a lot of buyers looking. So it's an interesting time in the market. We want to be able to educate our sellers on why we may be going in with this particular price range. So let's say we were looking at listing a home in Macomb Township or Shelby Township. We're literally just clicking on the city name. And that's how easy creating that graph is. So very quickly, if I'm going to educate a seller on, let me blow this up so you can see it even better. If I'm going to educate a seller on what's going on in their marketplace, I can show them, well, right now we're down about 15% in home inventory from last year. So what this does is it's always one rolling month behind because it has to gather all of the data for that month. And what it's showing them is last February, there were 105 homes on the market. And then now, this February, there were only 90. So we've got basically an inventory shortage of almost 15% or 14.3. What's happening with our average sales price? Which way are we trending in that direction? Well, our average sales price, again, was extremely high last year. Now we're looking at that average sales price is dropping about 8%. Again, we're not seeing those 29 and 30 percentages that we were just a few months ago as a lack of inventory, but we're still seeing a good 15%, right? And so, and every city right now is different. It also breaks down condos. So you can see that there is the condo inventory deficit's only about 3.4%. But different, we don't have enough, right? Now look at the average sales price in the condo market. We actually saw that it went from 253 last year to 284. So again, still not enough demand in that condo market in Shelby Township. So it's a very interesting, very easy way to bring that into your CMA and a great way to educate people on, what's happening in their marketplace. What I really like about market stats, though, is that you can tell a story and you can post it out onto social media. So I can pick the story I want to tell, but it's like Taylor said, you've got to have the right call to action. And she's way more of an expert at that. She has a degree in communications, and she's going to show you the tips and the techniques that you need to know. I'm just going to kind of sort of show you the walkthrough on creating that information. When you're posting, it's wonderful when you're posting out great information, and it's great to put things out there. But the other piece of it is if you're always putting stuff out and you're never getting that lead back, well, then you're really not creating new contacts to work with, right? You're putting stuff out, you're showing you're a leader in the marketplace, and that's great. And we want you to do that. We want them, when they see your name, to immediately know you're in real estate. We want you to post often so they remember you. But how are you grabbing that lead and making it a lead? You want to use something that's going to allow you to grab the person looking at that post and bring them back as an actual contact to start working with. If you haven't taken the Roadmap to Success class, we actually have a whole class on this, on how you can actually create new leads doing things just like this. But right now, a great story to tell is, so many people are saying, well, we're thinking about listing our home this spring. Well, what if I said, we need to get them off the fence and get them to list now? One, we need the inventory. Two, why would you want to wait for all of the competition with the spring market to come on board when you could get them more money now? But how are you showing them how you're going to do that? That's the question. So what I would do, and what I've had good success with, is if you go down to the bottom, the easiest way to think of these is, I like to tell people, think of them as story tiles. What's the story you want to tell? So right now, I want to tell people how listing right now and not waiting for the spring market is going to get them more money, and it's going to get them more money than they would have seen in the past 3 years. And you want to give an example. So here's a good example. If I go down to the bottom, I might want to use a home that's maybe 1,000 square feet or 2,000 square feet, something like that. I want to pick my target on what I really want to go and list. So I'm going to say, I want to show people right now why, if they list their home, maybe I want the listing in, let's say, Shelby Township. So I'm going to say right now, I want to show them why, if they list their home in Shelby Township right now, they're going to make more money. So I want to go up to this area right here at the top. And I'm going to go ahead and I want to say that I want to tell my story on Shelby Township, maybe Clinton Township. You're just picking the areas you want to make this story for. You could do it by county. You could do it by school district. You could do it by postal code. You could also draw out your own areas. I had a friend who said, you know what, I want to show over a couple counties. I do a lot of waterfront, and I want to show what's trending in waterfront right now. So we just drew his map along the waterfront. He covered a little bit of like the Grosse Pointe areas, went up into Macomb County, and even a little bit into St. Clair County. But he really just wanted to show what was going on with waterfront. So it allows you to draw your own areas and trend those numbers too. So you can actually post out, if you're looking to pick up new waterfront listings, that's a great way to do it. Put that information out there about the waterfront and what's going on the waterfront. But I'm not quite that lucky. I don't get the $1 million listings. I get more of the, little traditional brick ranches. So I would say that I want to tell my story in Shelby Township, Clinton Township. We'll add one more. And maybe we are going to look in maybe Macomb Township, just to grab a couple. But basically, you're just including the areas that you want to tell the story. Now, of course, if the consumer looked at this, the consumer would have absolutely no idea what that means. And quite honestly, even looking at it, I don't think I do. So I want to make this user friendly. I want to make it so any consumer who quickly looks at it is seeing the story I'm trying to tell. So I'm going to go up to line graph, and I'm going to simply change this to a bar graph. How far back do you want to go? Maybe I want to do 1 year. Maybe I want to do 3 years. Just depends on the story you're trying to tell. Maybe I want to do a year. Maybe you want to do rolling quarters. You just are choosing the story and what the timeline is you want for that story. So now I can see, well, yeah, they're getting a lot more price per square foot right now than they even have in the low inventory markets in the last 2 years, right? Instead of getting 190, they're looking at 206. Now, you start doing the math on 1,000 square foot brick ranch, you can start seeing you're building your story, right? You're going to tell them how they're going to get $16 more price per square foot on their home. So now I want to post this though. I want to post this out onto social media, but I want to do one other thing. I want to show I'm the expert, but I want to capture the lead that's looking at it. And that's really the key piece. It's great to keep telling them that you're an expert in the marketplace and to give out the information so they know you, but you want to pull that back. You want to pull that lead back into you. So I want to go and I want to hit this share button. And there's two ways you can share it. If you're telling a story like this, I generally want to share it in basically a locked graph, right? I don't want the numbers to change. I'm coming up with a story for those numbers. However, you can also do graphs that you could post out that can be reflective of when they're looking at it. You could put them on your website. You could share them, maybe you do a blog and you want to share that in your blog of what's going on in these areas. You can actually set it up so it's live. So when they click on it, they're seeing those live up to the minute numbers and they can see what's going on in their target area. But in this case, I'm going to say I'm locking it into my story. I want these particular numbers. I'm going to share it out onto social media. And I now want to just basically create that graph. Okay, the graph is interactive, so they can click into the graph and you can see this makes a lot more sense, right, than that ugly line graph that we started with. Right up here at the top, very easy to share out onto social media. Actually, Taylor, we got to change that little bird now. We got to replace it with the X, right? our little Twitter thing. I found a couple of those this week. I guess I've got to put that in my notes, but you can easily share it to Facebook. You can tweet it out. You can put it, you can email it out. You could add it to LinkedIn and a bunch of other sources. But basically, I want to share this to Facebook now. You could share this to a page that you manage. You could do this for your office as well. But I kind of want to show you an example that I created ahead of time to kind of show you where we're going with this. So I'm going to open up my Facebook business page. See, I had it open this time, Taylor. Now with that two-factor authentication, it was bugging me. I had to do that extra step every time. So, so I'm on my Facebook business page, and I just kind of want to give you a quick example of a good way to use this. So, and you could obviously, Taylor will tell you a lot more of what to write and how to post it. But a good example would be, are you on the fence about selling your home now or waiting till the spring market? Just take a look at these numbers due to the low inventory. So then I use the math example in Shelby Township. If you have a 1,500 square foot home and sold it today versus just 2 years ago, you would make approximately $40,000 more for your home today. Now that's going to appeal to people. Then, do you want to know what your home is worth? Simply click on the link below or give me a call. The whole idea is to get them to click on the link though. When they click on the link, it provides what we call a lead capture page or a squeeze page, if you've heard it called that. And basically, it's allowing them to put in, so when I click on that, it's allowing them to put in their address to simply find out what the home is worth. Now, it is not going to tell them, it's not going to give them a number and say, your home is worth this. That's what they need us for, right? Because let's face it, that is the drawback with the automated process. And people always say, you've heard it a lot this week. Well, Zillow's taken over. Well, Zillow's this. Zillow, remember, can't go in and smell a cat in the house or can't go in and see, specks of mold that we can catch. There's a lot of things Zillow can't do that we as trusted professionals can do. When they're clicking on this, a lot of times they're also just not ready to reach out to an agent yet. They're looking, they know they want to sell, but maybe they just haven't gotten to the point where they're ready to jump in and speak to someone about it. This is a way to allow them to put in their information, get some information about you and a few random comps that, let's face it, they could find on Zillow or Realtor.com or half a dozen sites. However, it's designed to capture that information and send it to you to follow up as a lead. So I love this. They basically just start typing in their address. It will quick fill for them, so they can quickly just click on their address. And then all they have to do is click that magnifying glass. Immediately it tells them, hey, we found it. Go ahead and put your name in. I'm just going to add my name. And it does require them to use a real live email address. So they can't put in something like don't ever contact me at joeschmagegi.com, nothing like that. It's going to make sure it's a valid email address. They could put an optional phone number or even an optional square footage. Most people don't. But if they do put in a square footage, it gives them even closer comps to their particular home. So when they click email my report, what happens is it's now gathering the address, sending it to you, the agent, along with their email address and their name. What they see right away is if you have any questions or want a more accurate professional evaluation of your home, give Colleen a call. Here's her phone number. Here's her email address. But what just got sent to them automatically without me having to do anything was it just sent them information about me, about my company, who I am in the industry. Maybe you do work for Habitat for Humanity, you paint houses. You can customize whatever you want to go out to them. And that really is the nice thing is they're getting great information about you. The program is randomly grabbing 3 to 5 local comps in their area that again, they could find, but it's not giving them a price that it's not giving them the number they should list their home at. This is where it immediately sends it to you as the agent. And now it's your job to do that follow up and pick up the phone and say, hey, Sally Sue, I see that it sent you basically some comps that were like yours, but I remember you had those beautiful built-in bookshelves and you did all that work when you remodeled your kitchen. Let me come over and tell you what your home is actually worth. It's really just designed to open the door to allow you to go in and give them a full traditional CMA. So let me show you where you find this link. So I showed you how to create the graph, right? We went into market stats, we picked the story we want to tell, and you can add even more criteria in market stats. Again, there's other classes on this. You could narrow it down to maybe a house with 1,500 square feet or certain amount of bedrooms. I mean, you can really get very detailed with the story you want to tell. But the thing is now we just want to share it. And when we're sharing that graph out onto social media, we're deciding if we want a live graph or static. We're just clicking that social media button. But when you do that, the key is now I want to add in that link that's going to return that lead to me. So let me show you where to find it. That's going to be in Cloud CMA, and it's actually made for you. There's nothing you have to do. All you have to do is go to Resources, Cloud CMA. And then once you're inside of Cloud CMA, there is your avatars. If you haven't added a photo, it will just be like an initial for your name. But I'm going to go ahead and click on my picture right here at the top right. And I'm going to click on lead generation. This is also where you can go to add custom pages. So if you have, I'm going to use Wynn for an example. Wynn's been a longtime broker. She does a tremendous amount of business. She has a lot of great resources about her company and the family of companies that she belongs to. She can put all of that great information right into her template. So immediately when someone requests to know what their house is worth, they immediately see all that great information from Wynn. So I'm going to go into lead generation. If you want to see what your landing page looks like or your squeeze page, all you have to do is click on View Landing Page, and it's going to show you exactly what it looks like. Now, like any product, there are a million different upsells. You can customize this. You can buy fancy ones. I don't really think it's necessary. I think this really does everything you need. When you're on this particular page, I just click Copy Link. Now I go into that post I'm creating and I simply paste that link in. So I'll show you that in just 1 second. I want to show you one more thing while we're here. If you are and we'll use Tom. Tom is really great about getting back to leads that come into him right away. He is just a full-time broker, been doing it a long time. He immediately, when he gets something that's a lead, he immediately reaches out to them. I just know that about him. If you are like that and you want to send something that's not auto-generated, you got the lead, within 30 seconds, you want to reach out and send something you've prepared, and you want to send it to them manually, you can uncheck this automation Then the lead just comes to you. And as long as you're good about responding in a good amount of time, you can manually respond to that lead. Because remember, you have their name, you have their email address. They'd seen you on social media, whether you posted it on your, whether you do it from a business page or maybe you do it from your business page and a personal page. Now it's your chance to go ahead and follow up with that lead. So if you are really good and you're, for me, for Taylor and I, we teach, for several hours in a row sometimes. So that would not be a good idea for me because it would be hours before I could actually follow up with someone. So I like the automated. That way it automatically sends out what I've prepared. They're seeing the information about me, my company, and I don't even have to think about it. It's done automatically. You can, of course, embed this squeeze or landing page on your website. You can, of course, share it directly to Facebook. I like to combine it with something though. It's more powerful if you combine it with why they need you, what you offer, why they should click on the link, right? You can, of course, put it. I have mine in my email signature. Do you want to know what your home is worth? They click on it, takes them right there. So lots of different ways you can use it. But again, if you're really good and you want to just follow up with your leads and manually submit something to them, you have that ability. So once you click copy link, you can go into your post. I'm just going to edit it here just so I don't have to start all over again. But you can go into your post and you can actually just paste that right in. So I could edit my post. And again, you can choose whether you want to add this to a broker page. If you are maybe you're putting a lot of information on a company page. Maybe you're also putting the single property websites from your listings on that page. It allows you to go in, add that capture so that you're not only giving great information, but you're pulling it back as well. Okay. All right. Taylor, any questions on that before we go on to the next one?
I have not seen any questions yet, so
Okay.
I will
So
let you
either
know.
I've put them to sleep or,
I don't think so.
all right. And Tom is right. I don't think I did grab my comb. So my fat fingering there. So, all right. So let's talk about new home source professionals. I'm just going to pull up a couple quick things I prepared
Colleen,
here.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Are you seeing
Sure.
questions coming through when you open up your panel? Because I don't see anything right now.
Oh, okay. I am.
Okay, do you mind seeing if you can change me to a little bit higher security level on this? Maybe that's why I'm not seeing the questions.
I'm sorry. I
I just put it
we had
together
that,
that
but
could be, normally people are not this silent. So I just
yes,
wanted,
you're thinking, okay.
let me
I'm just going to
see.
save it again. I have you as organizer. I'm saving you again.
Yep, I'm
Uh,
good now. I'm good.
okay, you're good. Okay. I think for whatever reason, it seemed to revert to panelists. I apologize.
Yeah, I didn't think wouldn't be able to see questions. I didn't really question it until right now. So,
I didn't even
okay,
think you
good.
could be a panelist on that thing, so I didn't know.
No,
Maybe that's new. I'm not really sure. Okay.
thank you.
Thank you. No, thanks for letting me know. All right. So I am going to just quickly switch over here. Okay. Can you see my screen again? As I'm sort of bouncing through here. Taylor, can you see my new selling
Oh, I'm
homes?
sorry. Yeah, I was muted. Yes, I can
Okay.
see.
All right. So what is New Home Source Professional? So let me give you the background on it, and then I'm going to show you how to set it all up. And basically, New Home Source Professional was developed, came out really right before COVID, was when builders were looking for ways to reach out to work with agents. And then obviously when COVID happened, this became like moved to the forefront because not everyone could go look at homes. They were looking for ways to still advertise homes. But really what it is it's a way for you, the agent, to be able to talk and promote and advertise basically off-market properties or properties that are not in the MLS yet. Now, when I say off-market properties, I'm not saying don't put them in the MLS. I'm saying that these homes haven't been built yet. These could be up and coming. They might just be holes in the ground right now. It might be a builder who bought a plot of land and is still in the process of, building those sites out or, dividing the land. Many times a builder will come into a community and They don't put anything in the MLS because there's nothing to put yet. There's no stick built yet, right? There's no model. There's no, nothing has gone up in that subdivision yet. They might not even have the land cleared yet, but they know it's coming, and they wanted a way to be able to reach out and work with agents so that agents could, one, sell the property and get paid a commission. Two, that they could register clients with those builders so the builders could follow up and answer questions that a lot of times in new construction we may not know. You know, they may ask you, well, what's the difference in this builder's elevation A, elevation B, and elevation C? How many times do we hear that, right? And we don't know. That has to come from the builder. So this was a way that builders were able to get together, and it started off with, it's over 2,000 builders now belong to New Home Source Professional and what they call the BDE, which is the Builders Digital Experience. And basically what they said is, you know, agents who want to sell properties in the MLS, that's great, but I don't have a property in the MLS, and I still want to be able to have the agent promote it and then collect a commission when, you know, this house is built. So they tried to figure out a way that they could put this all together and have a digital place that the agents could do this. And then obviously COVID hit, and then we really needed a place to do this. So it became, it basically fast tracked it, if you will. So it started off with just 1,000 builders. Now it's over 2,000 builders, and they put up and coming communities in here that clients can search through. What I really like about this, though, is just in our area, and this has actually changed, these slides are a little bit old, there's over 350 new home listings. 51 and this was, so I know that's even higher as well. It's probably closer to 60 at this point. Over 60 communities just in our area, and it just continues to grow. When you give the site to clients to search, they can also, one of the things I really like is they can see what is the status of that home. You have some clients who are looking at new construction that they need to get in 60 days. You know, they want their kids to go to that particular school that starts in September. They don't have a lot of time. So for them, they may only be looking for homes that are nearing the end of the construction process. They might not be looking for just the hole in the ground that's going to take 6 months to build, right? So right on the search, it's going to show what the status of the home is. But I love what these builders have done with these sites. They have done everything from, if they're family builders, maybe, you know, I know MJC has been a long family of builders, the father or the grandfather. They have a whole tutorial about how they've been building for years, how many communities they have, you know, their success, their footprint in the marketplace. They have everything from floor plans to videos to the differences in elevation to even some of the different materials that you can choose from when you're looking at their home. So they've done just a fantastic job. Again, many of these builders you will also find in the MLS, but what you're usually seeing is those are more ending, you know, they're getting close to being completed, or they are completed, or they're physically new construction that you can walk through. This is if they haven't got that far. It's the way I tell people to think of it. It's the easiest way to think of it is these haven't really made it to that status yet. Clients can go ahead and search. They can search by area. Again, they can share these with family, with friends. But right up here, as you can kind of see, this is where you can register your client with that particular builder. So by now, hopefully you started showing homes to this buyer. They may realize, oh, geez, you know what? There's not a lot of inventory. I think we are going to have to build to get what we want. Now, remember, according to the NAR MLS rules and practice changes with the NAR lawsuit and settlement, you've got that buyer representation agreement. Our CEO would be very unhappy if I didn't say that at this point. Now you should have the buyer representation agreement signed with that buyer. Now I know that they're looking at this particular builder. They really like his style of building. They've expressed some interest. I want to make sure if they go through, maybe they're having an open house, or maybe someone's sitting in their model. I want to make sure if my client is going through, I'm still going to get paid. This is my client, right? We've got that buyer representation agreement. So there is a button on each listing where you can actually register your client with that builder. Now, I do want to say, not only would you want to register, but you want to make sure you're getting something in writing of what you're going to get paid. Not, and I will say they hold these buyers to, that was one of the questions we asked when we rolled this out is, well, what happens if, they thought they were getting paid X amount and they only get, and they have very high standards to be part of this BDE, to be part of this broker network, if you will. If they get complaints like that, they actually remove the broker. And so they said, it's really important that yes, you want to get it in writing, but they also want to have in good standing so that you keep promoting all of their up and coming homes, which makes perfect sense to me. From here, you can obviously email or share the listing out. As I mentioned, you can share it out to someone's messenger on Facebook. Go through a couple of these other here, and then I'm going to show you how to set it up. This is exactly what I was mentioning just a couple of moments ago, that you can see the status. So obviously this one is under construction. You can see the sticks kind of mean it's being stick built, it's being put up right now. This would indicate that the home is not there. They haven't started the construction. So you can kind of see, and then there's fully completed, which looks more like a completed house. So I can tell very quickly if my client needs to get in right away, I can tell if this is going to be a house that would interest them. What I do like is their forethought to know that not only you're not going to set up different sites for your buyers, right? You don't want to, here's your MLS site. And by the way, I love the new collab center that came out last month. It's awesome. It's got more features than it ever had before. It looks brand new. They've really revamped that whole design. Not only do I want them to keep searching the MLS inventory, but now I want to keep them on my website, but I want them to have the ability to search both. So there is a way, and I'm going to show you in just a moment, they can search on market through the MLS on my website, but they can also search these homes as well. And so they can see on market and up and coming things. The cool thing too is if you can kind of see right down here in my example, you can see floor plans, you can see tours. A lot of these brokers have spared no expense with these beautiful fully furnished models. They have the Matterport tours so that clients can walk through them. But it's also talking a lot about the builder. They have videos on the builders, and and I think that really helps when you know that it's a fourth generation builder in this area. That they have been around a while and they're not going to be closing their doors tomorrow. So there's everything from information about the community. I was just looking at a builder in St. Clair Shores who was talking about the beautiful parks and what they can expect and how long the building process goes. But it also gives you the ability as the agent to post out onto social media, especially great posts like, hey, if you're a buyer and you're getting a little discouraged because you can't find what you've been looking for in this low inventory market, let me show you some builders with up and coming communities that you can't see through other agents. You can actually post that out and bring in some new buyer leads. Because let's face it, they're finding that a lot. They can't find what they're looking for and they end up feeling like, I better build if I'm going to get what I want. So it's, and matter of fact, I think in my Facebook example that I'll show you in just a second, I think I did one of those just for you to kind of see it. So basically the whole idea of this product is it's a way for builders to foster long-term relationships with you, the agent, to promote things that are up and coming that they can't see with other agents, that they can't see in the MLS yet because they're not there, right? All right, so let me go in where you find this. And this is just one example post that I did, and Taylor's a lot better with all the posting, but I just thought that this was kind of a good example. Buyers, are you losing hope trying to find that dream home in this low inventory market? Tired of writing offers and seeming to lose out? What if I told you could access up and coming new listings that weren't on the market all over Michigan? Simply click the button below or give me a call, and they can even be connected right to you through your Facebook business page. So really a great example, but let me show you where you get into this product. You're going to go under resources, and right under social media and lead gen, right where we found the market stats before, you're going to see the new Home Source Pro button. This is where you're going to set up your site. So remember, you don't want to invite people until you've actually set up your site, right? You want it to have your branding, you want it to have your look. So I'm going to go right up to where it says Colleen, because it's a single sign-on bringing you right in, and I am going to set up my account. You can go into your account information, And you just want to make sure that obviously everything looks correct. You've got your email address, the right company name, all of that great stuff. Then I start customizing my site. So this is the site that your clients are going to be searching on. This is where you want to have your social media links, your website links. You want to have everything all set up. You want to have your photo, your logo, what you want your background to be. If you have designations, you want to have those here as well. You can put in, I think they give you up to 5 spots. Yeah, up to 5 spots that you can add in different designations. You can add in information about you, and then obviously your email signature. So when you're emailing back and forth through the site, that's what they're going to see. So it basically allows you to create, and what it's called is your showingnew.com site. That is basically creating the site that they're going to be able to search on. So here's what mine looks like. There's dozens of different banners that you can choose from in the background. But remember how I said I want my clients to be able to search on market and off market properties? I want that tied to my website. So not only can they search right in here and see what's up and coming, but if they click on my logo here at the top, oops, did not take me in. I better reload that. It will take you to my Colleen DeLange website. For whatever reason, I think I got to go in and add that in again. So they can search right from this landing page to go to your MLS listed properties, or they can go ahead and put the area that they're searching in, and again, see those communities that haven't been set up. If you do, so I'm going to quickly just grab a couple of saved listings so that I can show you. I think I've got a couple of them open up here too, so I think I might have a few of them open. Yes, here's one. So this was a search I set up for someone out in, I think it was Davison is where they were mainly looking. But they can go in, they can obviously click into the house, they can favorite these, they can save these as the client. These are just plans or renderings, as you can see, but they can go in and see all of the details. Again, a lot of them using Matterport photos, using information about those builders. They can see the floor plans. They can see what subdivision it's going to fall in. They can favorite it so that I can also see it as the agent. It will give them the details as well as the different elevations that you see down here, as well as the specs for those properties, information about the community, area, schools. But now I am getting all of that information about the builder, but of course it's branded to me as the agent. And that really is the key, is that they're working with you. You're able to go in and register them to that builder, but you're able to see what they're saving, and you're able to see what communities they're looking at. So it's just a way basically to give them options to be able to see what's up and coming with these new builders. All right, Taylor, I know I need to kick it over to you because you've got a lot of good stuff. Let me see if is there any questions?
There was one about working with builders. If you had any suggestions, I would say, obviously it depends. So the question was, do you recommend introducing ourselves to the builders first?
I would register them right away. So I have something, a receipt, basically that I registered them, but I certainly would do that. I would call the builder and say, hey, I just want to let you know I registered, a client with you. I also am going to be sending over something in writing stating what you expect to be paid on that. You want to have a meeting of the minds. If they for sure sign with that builder, I don't want them signing first and then me negotiating what I'm going to get paid, right? I want to register them first, because if they do walk in before I get to walk them in, I want them to have something on file that I register them. But then, yes, you definitely want to follow up with what you expect to be paid compensation wise and have that meeting of the minds. Because if they don't sign that, I really probably want to turn them onto another broker. Oops.
I just took over.
Okay. I'm like, all of a sudden I saw my screen go blank. I'm like, okay, just got worried. All right. So very good question. The answer is I would register them right away so you have some proof they're registered. Just on the off chance on their way, home from the office, they just stop in, right? You want to make sure you have something, but definitely follow that up with a compensation agreement and that in writing what you're going to get paid. All right. Hopefully that helped.
Yep. All right, good question. Are you seeing my fake Facebook page?
I am. Yep.
Okay. All right. So for the sake of this class, I have a fake brokerage agent Facebook page to show all the posts I'm gonna do and the ads and boosting. But just so you guys know, I already have several of them posted, so I'm really just going to go into these and take the language, kind of show you the steps in which I got this, and go through the posts and sort of how I wrote those, to give you some inspiration. And then we're going to go into the business suite and go in and how to manage your page a little bit, and then also the ad center and create some ads. Okay. So to start with, let's do our first post, which is going to be New Home Source. I'm sorry I had to turn off my camera. We've been having internet issues out here, so I got an alert that said turn off your webcam so that your internet's more stable. So just so everybody knows, I didn't go anywhere. But the first one I want to do is New Home Source. Now, Colleen showed you guys where to go for that, but I'm just going to give a little refresher. It's all single sign-on for you right under resources, and then you're going to go into social media, lead generation, and you'll see New Home Source Pro. Now, I already have my my page set up. I can go in and I can make sure that I am signed in. Or that if somebody was a client and they wanted to go in and they wanted to create an account, this is what they're going to see as a sign-in. So they're going to see my branding, my business name, and then they can go in and they can set up. If they already are set up as a client, then they can easily sign in. If not, they would be a lead and they can now create a account under my URL. Colleen showed you guys in the account where you went to do that, but you can see right here that my URL has showing new.com/Taylor Fedewa. So that's going to be the URL that I'm using for these posts that I'm going to be showing you. So the one thing that is a little clunky about New Home Source is that when you save this URL, let me just show you. My gripe with it is you are going to just see my name, the name of the site, and my profile. So let me see real quick. Okay, good, it worked. So you can see that it says New Homes from Taylor Fedewa, and it's just it's not very attention grabbing, right? I want to have those visuals in my posts as well as a nice paragraph that explains why they should care. So what I do when I've done this post is I actually take a screenshot of the site. So it's a little bit more attractive in that post for them. So you can go in and you can create a screenshot. Like I said, it's a little extra clunky, but it's going to be worth the squeeze to do that. So when I go in, now I want to upload this photo. And I'm going to insert that. And now let's make our post. Okay, so our post, we're going to want to have something that's going to get their attention about New Home Source, the site, and then a call to action. So they can click into the site, but they can also do another call to action. And we're going to use Cloud CMA for this example. So for the language that I have already drafted up, this is going to be an example one that you guys can actually use too, and then tweak it for what you're doing. But I put together something that says, are you interested in receiving access to the largest new construction database? So the first attention grabbing should be tied to the visual that you're sharing. So I'm talking about a new construction database. Here is your visual. It's going to, of course, be the site so that they know that that's where they're going. It can be intimidating to think about selling your home and venturing out into the home buying process in today's market. Your dream home awaits, and I'm here to help you. But just get started by browsing new construction homes and up-and-coming communities. Search here. And then I also have another call to action part of this. Let's marry these two products together, like I said. First, you're going to see what your home is worth with a link to create your own comparable market analysis report. I like to lay that out, what that actually means for people, because not everybody might know what just the word CMA means. Then freely search new construction home communities and what's your home worth. So now when I make this post, hopefully it wants to post for me since my internet's a little bit unstable. But thankfully I have an example already saved. But as you can see, it's going to load that large photo, and anybody that sees this post in their news feed is going to see these two interactive links that they can then click on. It's going to take them to my new home source page where they can sign in and start searching, or it's going to take them to that Cloud CMA, what's your home worth, where you get that URL. Colleen showed you guys where to get that URL, but that is within lead generation when you're in Cloud CMA. So this is one example of using these two products together and how to kind of tell that story. This one honestly is not going to really be dated. You can use this exact post if you want, make some little tweaks, but this one's kind of a timeless post right now. The other one that I have is using market stats graphs and addressing the statistics that you're sharing. Okay, so this one takes a little bit more of customization depending on the story you want to tell, updating the numbers if you're going to use a similar graph that I'm going to use. And then I'm also going to have a call to action that's going to lead to new home source, because guess what? The inventory is low, prices are high. It's a good time to list your home. You want to list your home? You can also browse my site, which would be your agent IDX site, or you can set them up with current homes, or go ahead and browse some up and coming communities with my site here. So let me pull up, we're going to go into market stats for this. So to go into market stats, you're going to go to resources and hit market stats. Now the graph example that I did, if I remember right, but we can narrow it down to a specific area. So if you are looking to switch up your posts, but kind of tell a similar story, you can search all the way down to a postal code, a municipality, school district. But for the sake of this, I'm going to do the entire MLS. And we're going to do over 5 years. And we're going to do new listings. And we can see that there'll be a dip in new listings over 5 years that we're kind of comparing to. We really dipped down here, but now we're slowly coming back up. But if you want to kind of tell that story over a 5-year timeline, we are down in new listings. If you want, you can do it as a bar graph if that's a little bit more appealing to you. You can also do price per square foot. So this is where you can really see the increase in the price per square foot. This was the one example that Colleen did, where if you would have sold 2 years ago, you're actually getting, 20,000 more from 2 years ago if you would have listed. So now is an all-time high to sell your home. It just kind of depends on what you want to do. So I'm going to do the new listing just for the sake of this example. For new listing, it goes only back 5 years. But for a line graph, you can go back up to 10 years. So because of that, I want to do the 5 years, and I kind of want to look at that dip and see what that percent change is. You can do that calculation by looking at where it was and where it is now and figure out that percent difference. And now I'm going to go in and I'm going to share that graph. by sharing that graph, you can hit Facebook, and what that'll allow you to share right to the page that you're logged in as, or if you're logged in as your personal page and not switched over to your business page, you can then also hit go to a page you manage from there. But I'm going to take this graph and I'm going to share that graph right into my, one second. I'm so used to just copying from my browser all the time. But the best way for at least for market stats, even though I don't love doing it this way, but is you're hitting the Facebook icon and it will actually load the visual. So depending on where Facebook's at, because it likes to change stuff a lot, sometimes you can paste a URL and it'll load the photo. Sometimes you have to go right from the icon. But I'm going to be telling the story of this graph of new listings over the last 5 years and the decline that we've seen from 5 years ago and what that difference is. But I'm going to tell that story as a positive, and you can list at a top dollar. You can also be browsing new homes and new home source. So let's marry these two products together now. So let's go in. I got this sample post right here. And so what I did from the graph that I use, what that percent change for new listings would be, there's no surprise that there is a housing inventory that has been consistently low. But over the last 5 years, there has been a dip of 10 to 20% of new listings on the market. Sellers are getting top dollar for their homes, but are worried that where to live after they sell. Thankfully, new construction is on the rise. If you're interested in selling your home at an all-time high and want to get into a new build, check out available new construction homes and up-and-coming communities with top builders in the state of Michigan. So we're going to now share that post. It's going to display the graph because the first thing I talked about in that post is going to be the statistics. And now they're going to see this graph. They can click on this to go to my new home source site and start looking at listings, capture that lead, or they just want to see these statistics that I'm referencing. I have an interactive graph. Now, one thing to mention, when you are talking about specific numbers, you're going to want to make sure you do a static graph when you share to Facebook, not live, because you don't want your numbers to be any different than what your post is talking about. So you want to make sure that the graph that you are doing a snapshot description of is the static version before you share it to social media. Now, if you just want to do a regular weekly post of the market updates, statistics or quarterly statistics, and you want to share it as an interactive live graph that's just always updating each quarter, go ahead and do that. But when you do those specific numbers, make sure you set it to static. All right. So that is going to be a sample post number 2. And then the third one is going to be using Cloud CMA. So Cloud CMA is going to be the visual that you're going to want to share, right? Because that's going to be the first one we talk about. So when we go into our Cloud CMA, we're going to paste that lead capture tool, let that load. See, that's what's kind of weird right now. Something's kind of quirky with Facebook right now, where it's not wanting to load the visual. When you shared from, did you end up publishing, Colleen, from your lead capture?
I think I did. Yes, I think
Right.
I did.
Right. So I'm trying to figure out why it's not, but we'll just go from here, I guess. Go to the Facebook icon. Want you to click that button so that you get your photo to load. We're going to connect to that. And then the language that I want to do, the story I want to tell here is going to be capturing what your home is worth. You're going to follow up with that accurate price when you get that lead sent over. All three of these are different. They're all going to speak to differently to people and what they're curious about. But you want to have another call to action for this one. Now, this post is going to be a triple whammy. So this post is going to have a call to action, an opener with what's your home worth. It's going to have that call to action to click here to do that. It's going to have another call to action about browsing new construction, and it's going to have a third call to action where it's going to direct them to your website. So if they have a choice based on this post, what they want to do. Do they want to visit your site? If you have a CRM and do all that, it'll capture those leads. If they just want to browse your IDX site on there with what's existing in the MLS, they have that option. If they want a new community, new construction, set that up, you're going to have that call to action. And if they just want to see what their home's worth, that's what you're opening with. That's what the visual is going to be. And that's going to be the most attention grabbing of them all. So I'm going to go in and I'm going to grab that sample post. We're going to go in and we're going to tie all these bad boys together. So, and I'm laying it out. Depends on what you're interested in. Where is your head at? What are you interested in, right? I'm going to space this out so it's a little prettier looking and not too tied together. Now for this post, this is where I said, where do you want to, where do you start when it comes to listing your home? First, you may want to know what your home's worth in this low inventory market. The link below sends you a report, comparable market report, which details listing your home and how and for how much. Whatever you may be interested in, new construction home or an existing home, you can set up and start browsing, no pressure, and help answer any questions. So what's your home worth is going to take them to that lead capture tool in Cloud, up and coming, new home source, and then I just put my Real Sources website because I'm not an agent website. So that would be your agent website. Or if you wanted to have them set up something through Collab Center, they can go in and you can get that going too. It's all what works for you. And then you're going to go in and you're going to publish that. You're going to go in and publish that. Yep, see, it didn't load the photo. Might have to report that, Colleen, as a technical issue, that when you share either from the URL in your browser or if you share from the social media icons down here, it's not loading the pretty form in your posts. So I'll have to remember to do that.
Okay.
I've never had that problem before, so.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah. It's not as attractive as of a post.
It is kind of a weird thing because I clicked on my remember I told you could search on market and off market, and my pop-up blocker did not allow it to open, but I fixed it. So I don't know, maybe it's just something quirky right now.
Yeah, something's weird because normally, at least when you hit from a social media icon, it'll always load a visual. So something's kind of weird's going on. But Cloud's always been really good about that lead capture thing. So, but for the sake of this class, I'm going to go in and I just took a screenshot really quick so we can have a nice, pretty visual. And I'm going to save that. So something like that happens to you, depending on the browser you're using or those extra steps that maybe can be a little cumbersome. You can always go in and you can hit these three dots in the right-hand corner and hit edit post and upload a photo. So you don't have to go through all the steps all over again. So it makes it a little easier for you. But not as easy if it would have just shared the visual to start with. But here is that post that I just read to you guys. All of these sample posts, and I believe the one that Colleen did too, about if you would have sell now versus 2 or 3 years ago, what that per site price difference would, or that return on investment would be basically. So you can go in and you'll see all those in the handout and check that out. Now, let's say I got all these posts. I'm going to do that, you know, do a post pretty regularly. I could go into all the marketing strategies that I know a little bit, but we're going to be doing a full-blown social media class, a basics at least, where we cover some of this stuff, but we're going to also cover the ads and boosting too. But just some strategies, some things to build your brand, build your page, build followers, stuff like that. But keep this in mind that if you go dark on your page for 3 months and you don't post anything, you're not going to have, your algorithm is going to kind of fall down the ranks for your followers. You're not going to get frequent followers. You're not going to get frequent interactions. And therefore, when you're sharing these posts, they're kind of being missed. A lot of them are going to be missed. So if you have 500 followers, you have 10,000 followers, page likes, a lot of those things can be missed if you're not frequently sharing. So that doesn't mean you need to go to this extent and share all of this all the time, but doing them frequently, tweaking a little bit here and there on them is going to be really beneficial. But it's also sharing your listings, sharing your open houses, sharing bios about you, sharing any kind of interesting articles that you have on your site. If you work with a marketing drip campaign company, you can do stuff like that. You need to be frequently posting. Now, once you've done that, you can go in and you can boost straight from here, or you can go into the Meta Business Suite. Now, from boosting, this just saves you a step, but I do want to go over the Business Suite a little bit for you so that you can kind of see how it's all laid out for you. You can go in, you can create a post, you can create an ad from here, you can create a reel, or you can add something to your story. And then you can also go live. Everything you really need to do to manage the business page part of this is going to be under your Business Suite. So if I wanted to go in and I wanted to pull an already existing post that I did, it's going to be displayed right there for me. And I can see what's going on with it right now. Not a lot because I just posted it, but I can go in and I can hit boost. I'm going to close out on some of my windows so it loads hopefully a little faster. And from here, I can see that post that I already made. What I recommend doing is make your post, let it hang out on your wall organically is what they call it, for about a day or so. And then you can go in and you can schedule a post or do your boost. And then that kind of gets that organic activity going, and then you can actually see the results from your boost as well. And here's where you can go in and you can customize everything that you want of this boost. So if you want them to learn more or sign up for something, you can click there. That URL that was in your post that you want to be the main one that they go to, you can go in and you can copy that URL. I think I did the Cloud CMA one for this, but just for the sake of class, I'm going to go in, I'm going to copy that URL. Now they don't have to go into the post deeper. If they don't want to, they can just click learn more. I can see the text. And now this is where I can choose my audience. So if I want to create this post and make sure that everybody sees it that likes my page, and then maybe certain activity that is target certain market areas, you can go in and do this. Now this is anything that you're going to be posting about a listing, you have to keep in mind that that is a housing topic. So you can't get too specific or narrow on your audience because of fair housing violations that can happen. So when you're posting stuff about a listing specifically, you want to make sure that you are checking housing as the topic, because if you don't, then you could get your post removed or flagged. And then, but if you have housing checked, it will set it so that you really can't break any rules. If you don't check it and you go in and you try changing the audience and setting these audiences up, let's do a create audience, and it's not checked because it's not a sensitive category, that's when your ad can get potentially removed or blocked or not approved. So it's just an extra step. If you just check housing, it's not going to let you select anything that doesn't qualify and get approved automatically anyways. So you can go in, you can label your target audience, if this is like Utica or Shelby Township, Macomb, potential sellers, things like that, this post is going to be really trying to incubate those seller leads. You can go in, you can, for one, target your area, your age range, title that audience, and then you can also go in and select demographics. Now, if this is a housing one, you're not going to be able to go in and really hit people's lifestyles or things like that, where it's going to only get in front of, let's say, a family, but that does not mean that somebody who does not have a family cannot get this house. So you have to be kind of careful of what you're putting out there. Now, if you're putting out content that is relevant to maybe a new family, then that would make sense. But when it comes to the home, a specific house, that kind of stuff, always make sure you're checking the housing category so you don't make any mistakes there. So right in there is where you would create that audience. I have, because I work for the MLS, I have targeting our agents, real estate professionals in the area if I wanted to. We have our membership audience all in here, but for the most part, that's the extent of what we can do. We talk about housing and all that kind of stuff, so I always just check the housing. I'm sure a lot of the posts that I do not fall under that, but just for my own peace of mind, I just always check it to make sure. So, but that's up to you. Now, what you can do is you can publish your boost, and the way a boost is going to display is a post on your wall, and it's just going to show up in that audience that you created. So the people that already like and follow your page, and then the audience that you created, it's going to do placement to make sure it gets in front of those people. Now, as you go through the process, you will add a payment method. You will set the schedule of how long you want this boost to run. If you want it to run for months, you want it to run for a week, it's going to give you a recommended budget. And then you plug in your payment information. It will store it if you would like, so you don't always have to do this. And then once you've ran your ad, it will give you the analytics of that ad, and it'll also give you a receipt, and you can go in and you can get that information from here, but you can get that report so that you have that for your own business trackings as well. What I like to do is go under the planner. And from the planner is where I create a lot of our posts. So you can go in, you can create the same posts. The windows are going to look exactly the same. You add your photo, you add your URL, the dates, the price that you want to schedule. And then in that planner, I can see in my view how many posts I have scheduled out for that month. So when I promote our classes that are coming up and our events or any helpful press releases or notifications, I go in and I schedule out our month on our My Real Source page. And I do that so that they go out at a certain date, a certain time. I'm not just overloading my wall with a bunch of posts. And then there's the ads. So an ad is going to show up. The ad is a lot more complex. It has a lot of steps. It has a lot of tracking. This is more where you can import audiences that you have. So if you wanted to go in and you wanted to add that spreadsheet of an audience, you can go in and do that. It doesn't look as organic as a natural post. It does look very addy. It's going to be a little ad up in the corner or on the side of their page, stuff like that. So you can go in here. This is where you can create that ad. And this is more of a campaign. So you have your goals. Are you hitting your markers? What is the outcome of this ad that you're looking to achieve? So are you looking to promote your business? Are you looking to just get more traffic to your website? Is it more traffic to that specific post that you want? Are you looking to promote your Facebook page, get more leads? So it's going to give you options to achieve your goals. The visual is very similar to setting it up as a boost, but there's a little bit more. So you can then check whether you want it to also be a story, you want to do a reel. You can also do something called a carousel. See how I can click. This is showing me that I have it in all these places too, but when you add media, there will be an option for you to add up to, I think 5, yep, media, 1 to 5. So you can have 5 photos rotating in the ad, and that's called a carousel. You have your headline. Your headline is going to be what's here. So you have a lot more customization under the ad because it looks like an ad. It doesn't look like a natural post. So it just depends on what you're using it for, what you're promoting, and what your goals are. If you want to just market a specific listing and build an ad to get that listing out, an ad is great for that. If you're just trying to say, hey, new listing, or just closed on this property, are you ready to list your home? A boost natural post might look a little bit better. It just depends. Same thing, if you've already done an ad or a boost before, it's going to save that payment method for you. You set your date, your time. I always check Placement Advantage. This is kind of an assistant from Facebook if you would like one, to make sure that it's placing in the best place, in the best audiences that it is seeing based on your algorithm and based on your clicks. So if you're starting to kind of get a lot of clicks from somebody that maybe you weren't thinking that, or wasn't totally laid out in your audience, it's going to recognize that on the back end and maybe get in front of that person a little bit more. Usually very, very few people buy something the first time they see an ad. So it's that repetition in their feed or that ad that makes them now finally pull the trigger on that clothing item or that makeup item or that vacation. Okay, fine, I'm finally gonna click on this and book my vacation because I clicked on it once, it got placed in front of me, clicked on it once, checked it out, but I didn't actually do anything with it. So I think it's about 3 to 5 times, if I remember reading this. It could have changed because this was a long time ago, but I think it's about 3 to 5 times somebody has to see something before they actually move forward with that call to action usually. So when it comes for an ad, you're going to want to make sure you have that placement advantage checked, because it strategically will do that to people who have made sure it gets in front of people that have already clicked on it, because clearly they're interested in it. It's just really moving forward and closing that deal. Now, when you've had your ads or boosts running for a little bit, you can see there's an insights button. This is where it's going to track all your activity. If you've achieved your goals, where you are on your goals, if you did an ad, clicks, likes, interactions. You can do a full report and export that if you would like. And if you wanted to, depending on what you set up, you can set up it to go to just your messaging on Facebook so that you can have a conversation through messaging on Facebook. They don't have to then go to a website and then fill out a form too. So a lot of options can be a little overwhelming. It feels like every year they add more things that I need to keep up on or change it or move it around. But just know that the planner is there. That's a good strategy. Boosting for the stuff that we talked about today is a good strategy. Always checking the housing so that you're not gonna, think that your posts are made and then come back a day later and they got removed. So just make sure you're doing those things. But yeah, there's a lot to this. Know that as your page grows, you can set something up with a I got kind of an account manager at Facebook. So I was running an ad a couple years ago, and I just was hitting my head on it. I kept getting messages that it wasn't performing well and things like that. And so then I had somebody reach out and was like, "Are you interested in some support here?" And I was like, yeah, I'll take advantage of that. I didn't really know how good it was going to be. Well, I actually got a one-on-one with a consultant at Facebook to walk me through the mistakes that I was making, some suggestions, and it was basically a Zoom with this person, and they were showing me. So I learned a lot from her. Because they add so much so often and they change stuff so often too, and add new features that you could be missing. Now, if you have an Instagram page, when you are building these ads and you're building those boosts, it's always going to give you the option to check your Instagram so that they display on Instagram as well. So I don't have an Instagram page for ABC Real Estate class, but if I did, I would hit connect to Instagram. I would log into Instagram and would link those accounts. Now I can manually go into Instagram and post stuff just like I could how I can on Facebook. But if I want to do the ads, I have to do it from the Meta Business Suite that I was just in, and there'll always be a check for it to display on Instagram. And it's going to show you how it looks on Instagram too. All right, so is there any questions, Colleen?
I don't see any so far. I think
Okay.
I think you covered most everything.
Okay.
And I fixed my website problem, so that was good.
Good. Was my internet and audio okay?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. It was all good. And
Right.
no, it was a lot of great information. And if you do have any questions, now's a great time to throw them in that questions box.
Yep. Before I move on to Cubicasa, and then I think we're done after that. Let us know if there's a demand there for the Facebook page. I mean, I covered a lot in this class, but some more of the basics, some more tips and suggestions, please let us know in the questions if you'd be interested in that so that we can develop one and offer it every once in a while. Or if everybody's pretty comfortable with it, they just wanted to know more about boosting and ads. Now, this is a tool that we brought on that is probably one of our most favorite tools that are offered. You also get some, so there's a member benefit floor plan with Cubicasa, and then there's some additional marketing things that you can use and then promote that on your Facebook page as well. So this member benefit is a floor plan app if you are not using it, but so you should be using it. Sign up for it. You get up to 5,000 square feet free, included in your My Real Source membership floor plans for every single one of your listings. So as long as you sign up under My Real Sources link, which is going to be under resources, Cubicasa floor plans, and you'll see our logo. So that's how you know you're in the right place. You're going to sign up, and then that login and password that you use, you can download the app and you can start scanning from the app to create floor plans. So you'll walk through, you'll do your scans. I'll show you a quick little video of how that works. And you can then get that image sent to you, that report sent to you, and then share that floor plan on your new listings. So I'm going to show you a little video on how to do that. And then a couple of the extra marketing things that you can opt into if you wanted to have more content as well to share on your Facebook page. Please keep in mind, Colleen teaches a class on this too that's taught pretty frequently. So if you have not used Cubicasa or you've downloaded it, but you haven't had a listing to do, you can always do one on your own house, or you can take the class before you dive into this app. But it is pretty straightforward. Once you have the app, it walks you through it, gives you directions, allows you to set it up, some tips and suggestions. It is a continuous scan through the whole house. So once you do that, you can actually go outside. You can do patios and porches and second dwellings. As you add over more than 5,000 square feet, there will be an additional cost. But for 5,000 square feet, it is included in your My Real Source membership. Copyrights to this is also included in your My Real Source membership. We negotiated that when we brought on the product. So once you've done your scan, your continuous scan through the whole house, this is where you can go in and you can submit this scan to Cubicasa. There are real people behind the scenes that are looking at this scan. It's not all software and automated where it's going to misinterpret baby gates for doors or a wall or anything like that. That was one of the concerns that I had. And then when we go in there, we can see the floor plan. We can relabel the names of the rooms if you wanted to. You can add your logo. You can change your color scheme. All of that is a part of your general basic scan. Now, given the stuff that we talk about in class today, there are other things that you can also opt into with Cubicasa and add on so that you have extra marketing for your clients and their property, but also stuff to share on your Facebook page. So they do 3D rendering, video tours that you can send over. They also have this really cool hotspot tour. This is something that Colleen has used and she loves it. It takes the pictures for you, or when you do your pictures, and then it also does those hotspots and gives them this floor plan that's interactive where they can then click around and see views from different places of the home, which to me is amazing because when I was looking for my home, I really struggled with, well, where things were in relation to spaces in the room, right? Like how close, where was the master bedroom or primary bedroom from the living room? I mean, it just kind of jumped in there. So it gives us that nice transition throughout the home. And then all of these are going to be, some of these will be like the tours and stuff will be a URL that you can then promote and put on your Facebook page to promote that property. This is definitely Colleen's, one of her favorite products that she uses as an agent as well as teaches the class. So Colleen, is there anything that you wanted to add about Cubicasa?
Nope. There's a lot of new marketing pieces like the copy and paste into Paragon, the new hot shots, the interactive pieces. And we just got an email yesterday that there's even more coming out. So what they've done is they've added kind of like a bundle, which is called Cubicasa 3.0 that you can add on any scan, and it gives you a lot of this functionality. So yeah, you can actually see this The hotspots are photos that you upload. So whether your photographer takes them or you take them, you basically upload, you can move them anywhere in the home. But it's visible right from the floor plan, right through the MLS. So we teach that in the Kubacasa class, and you can actually find that in the education corner.
All right, awesome. And I did paste in the education corner in the chat as well for everybody, just so you know.
Cool. Yep. And we'll be showing those hotspots and all that good stuff in the next class. So excited
Yeah.
about it.
Yeah, really cool product, really cool app. I was impressed with it just because of just my layout of my house is kind of a little funky. And I was curious how the scan was going to pick up. And it did a great job. And I think it is because there's real people looking at this behind the scenes, and really piecing it all together and not mistaking boxes, you know, a wall of boxes as a wall, not mistaking the fireplace as a wall. I have a big fireplace that is basically a divider from our rooms. And if just looking at it, it would seem like a wall. So the fact that in that scan, it picked up that recognized it was a fireplace was good. Baby gates, it did not assume that they were, you know, it was big baby gates that I had, did not assume it was a closed door or a wall or anything like that. So
That's great. Well, you covered it all, Taylor. I think you did a great job.
you as well.
I
Thank you.
don't see any more questions. So hopefully we'll see you all on the next class.
All right. Awesome. All right. Stay
All
warm
right.
out there. Hopefully the snow doesn't come your direction because it's coming down here. It was
Thank you.
70
I
degrees
appreciate that.
yesterday and now it's snowing today. So only in Michigan.
It's unbelievable, isn't it? Only in Michigan, pure Michigan.
Yep. All right. Well,
Have a
have a
great
great day, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. Hopefully you got a couple takeaways at least. And please let us know if you would like that social media class too, if there's more that I didn't cover in today that you would like to see a little deeper. But yeah, so have a good one. Thanks, Colleen.
Bye, everybody. Thank you.
Bye.